regular meeting with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Here.
Commissioner Barwick.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. You couldn't tell, Commissioner Stecklin is not here, but he is at a business meeting, and that's one of the reasons that is approved by the state in order to call in telephonically for a meeting. So we're trying to balance this little cell phone here and the microphone all at once. So, okay, would you all stand and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Chief, how about you lead us? Okay, all yours.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to item 3 on the agenda, which is our public comments, audience to visitor section. This is the opportunity for people to address the council, subject to some rules and regulations that are outlined in 2 different ordinances, 3128 and 3134, which are on the back of the agendas in the far right corner as I'm facing it in the corner of the room on those chairs. So is there anybody who'd like to address the council this evening? Okay. State your name and your business.
Doug Phillips, Street Superintendent for the City of Marion. I want to take a minute to thank a lot of people. First of all, Jim, for everything he does for our department, day in, day out, to make it possible to do what we do. The mayor and the council, chief of staff, for all the help you give us. We had a pretty rough week with the weather event we had. Real appreciate all the departments jumping in and helping, men and women in both departments, all departments. It was a long week. You know, a lot of us were without power, but we were helping the power companies and to clear the roads for first responders, to make sure that everybody could get to where they need to go. And it was, in the end, it was a great turnout for the team that we had. So I want to thank everybody. Special thanks to Beverly Daniels, A Taste of Bev. She provided us with hot meals for the department the days that we were working. Like I said, a lot of us didn't have power when they had means for hot meals, and she was a lifesaver on that part. I want to thank Tammy and her team for helping us with all the calls. It means a lot to have the help there, because answering all the calls and doing the job we do, it's a big help. We appreciate you very much. So I just want to give everybody a thank you for all they do. So.
You got anything to say?
No, I just echo that. It was a tough week, but everything went off good. And I just talked to him. We still got plenty of salt left too. So
yeah, the resources having them to do what we've done. The mechanics, we all started a week early getting everything ready. We had very little trouble with any of the equipment. Long hours, but in the end, the roads looked good. It was able to get around good, so we appreciate everything to do. So.
Well,
you guys did
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
So you did a tremendous job. I had countless people comment to me how well the roads looked shortly after the ice and the snow. Kudos to everybody at the street department and everyone that chipped in and helped you guys do your job.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to say the same thing, Doug. I've gotten an awful lot of compliments on the streets and how quick we were, how efficient we were. It was like we blinked and they were clean. And we certainly appreciate that. We know it was a long, hard week for you, but thanks to you and your staff for getting the job done. Appreciate it.
We do our best to contact the people in person when we have a call, and it means a lot to them to hear from us, to know we'll be there. On this limb pickup, I want to touch on it a little bit. Made the decision to collect all the limbs. Right now, there's still a lot of limbs frozen to the ground. We had a lot of calls, when are we going to do the pickup? Our trucks are still equipped for the winter. We have to take a lot of the stuff off to haul all these limbs, so been looking at the weather, giving everybody a chance to everything to thaw out, to get them out with the road and try not to block the drainage or the sidewalks. But regardless how many times it takes us to go around, we will be there to pick them up. So we will take care of everybody. So.
Did you get that
I did-
audio?
I did get that on audio, and I would imagine that the city probably has kind of publication come out later. It's already been out. It's already been out.
Yeah, we published that last week as far as what our hopeful demeanor is going to be on this with the pickup of brush. Everybody needs to get the stuff that they've got to the curb. And I know it sounds a little bit disconcerting, but we really will get to it as we can. There's still a lot of obstacles in the way to do that. And as Doug was saying, which I hadn't thought of, you've got a lot of equipment hanging off of these trucks that you don't go run around local neighborhoods in if you can.
It'll be a lot like spring cleanup,
Yeah.
We have to make, revisits to the areas, but there's gonna be one thing we can't do, we've had a lot of calls for, is to get up and cut limbs off of houses. We cannot do that
Right.
liability, but if they can get somebody to get them out to the street, we'll definitely get them picked up.
And in the meantime, we're still accepting that yard waste
Yeah.
at the street department.
I've
Did you
left-
have a comment?
I can wait. I guess the question that I had was supposed to be, what about alleys? Does alleys work? We have people that freeze in their backyard, if there's an alley, can it?
We had to clear a lot of alleys during this storm, so yes, we will be running alleys too. Yeah. A lot of the alleys get the brush back. There's a lot of power lines in the alley, that's what they're for, so
Mayor.
we will be taking care of them. So.
Mayor, may I say something? Yeah, we've had quite a few calls today in our office, and we are telling people basically, they will be around at some point. They're transitioning, they're still getting everything cleared up, picked up, all of that. If you can get it to the curb, just get it out there where they can see it, and eventually they will come and get it. And we're just telling them, basically be patient, get it out there and get it ready,
A
so.
lot of them are worried that they're not going to get it out there in time because it's still frozen.
Yes.
That's why we haven't jumped in, because just as soon as they see us, they panic and then they want to hurry up and get out there. We're not pushing anybody,
Yeah.
however long it takes. If we have another weather event, we will have to pull out, equip the trucks again, then go back. So.
Yeah, and we've told them that, you all were super busy last week, and then you had more weather last weekend, so you're still dealing with all of that, and everybody's been very patient, and,
Yeah, we'll make it right. We'll get it.
I'll just reiterate, since I'm here each day and Cody's here each day, you guys normally aren't at City Hall, but I take my share of phone calls too, as you can imagine.
That's why I
And
appreciate you too.
I thought it was an amazing effort. And I gauge that based on the number of phone calls that I get that are negative ones. And there's always some. But even those that I did get, we were able to handle those little issues very quickly, and I give you kudos for that. But one thing that's not clear, and frankly, as a outsider to government, even after 6 years, I'm still learning all of this, is there's a great deal of luck and tactical. When you know there's a storm coming, you guys pre-treated the roads. So we've got certain things that go on that don't appear obvious to everybody, or at least aren't to me. One, you can only run these trucks with our employees for so many hours a day before they have got to rest. I hope that makes sense to everybody. They have to sleep too, and the last thing that we want is them to be tired and bleary-eyed and be unsafe in a 5-ton truck that's running a snowplow blade down the road. So the timing of when you treat the roads, if you know there's an incoming weather event, is critical. And when you deploy those folks is critical. Knowing what that cycle is like, that you've got 8 or 10 hours to run them and then they've got to go rest and so forth. And you really want to run everybody pretty much at the same time so that you can get some economy of scale with that. So there were a couple of times where somebody said, well, how come they're not running the trucks? Well, hopefully they're sleeping, eating, and resting up to come back and hit it again. So I thought you timed all that perfectly, frankly, because if you hadn't treated the roads with the brine and the things that you did, I think that helped in getting this was a tough ice, the way it froze. And that under treatment, so to speak, of that is just crucial. And so I give you kudos and your crew. Lastly, just that you know, I made a special visit to Bev to thank her for that. We had a couple of businesses that offered to pay for emergency services to go buy McDonald's, for example, ahead of time, which I appreciate very much. Unfortunately, McDonald's was closed when the ice storm hit, and so Bev really stepped up and made a bunch of vittles, and I'm sure that was over the top good. And
It made all the difference in the world for
Yeah.
them to have a hot meal for the crews when
but
they
it's
came in.
it's not just for morale. I mean, there's a real practical need for that for police and fire, and you know, this goes beyond the street crew. You just can't imagine the number of calls that the police department had to deal with. Particularly during the ice storm. I was watching it that night and the next day. It was just call after call after call after call for electrical line down or this sparking or whatever. These are dangerous, tense situations, and I thought everybody did a great job. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Anyone else like to speak to the council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, our consent agenda, which consists of items A, B, and C. I'll point out, as I have in years past, just because this is different and only once a year. Item C, these tax abatement resolutions. So when we issue bonds for general obligation purposes to fund certain operations of the city, we are authorized by law in order to add that essentially to your tax bill. Well, all this is since we do not levy a property tax, this is basically us saying that we're not going to add those bonding amounts to your tax bill and divide that amongst all the taxpayers. So, but it's a technicality that we have to go through. There's a couple of $1 million there worth of borrowing that we have done over the years. You can see some of it is as old as 2014. We're blessed in the city that we don't have to pass that along to the taxpayer in the form of property taxes. So that's what item C is. Anybody from our audience like any of these items, A, B, or C, or sub-items removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately with a completely separate vote? Anybody in the council like any of these items voted upon separately? Okay, hearing no objection, I would entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented.
I'd make a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented, items A, B, and C.
Second?
Any discussion on items A, B, or C, or sub-items?
The Movotrex signal cabinet, how are we going to get reimbursed for that?
Trying to subrogate that with the insurance company. I think Wendy can
Okay.
maybe speak to that a little bit.
So there's been a little bit of an update on that since we put it on the agenda. The insurance company has made an offer of the remaining amount of coverage they have after they've paid their initial payments to other parties. So they've made an offer of about $7,200. Doug has checked with IDOT, and we believe that if we accept that offer, that would be in settlement with the insurance, the driver, everybody. And then the remaining balance that is owed after that, IDOT would be willing to share 50-50 with the city.
So is that another way of saying here, let's see, what is this, 49,000?
Yeah,
Is that right?
So
if we-
39,000 is this.
39.
39 minus 70, how much? 7,000, how much?
About 7,200. I think it's seven.
So say 32,000, and then IDOT is going to share it, so we're going to be on the hook for 16,000? Is that how this math works out?
Roughly. There's also a bill from Brown Electric that was for 4,800 that factors into this project as well.
So 18.4 is what the city's going to be
Between
out?
18, 19,000 is what the city's likely to be out on this project.
And that's simply a result of the insured not having enough coverage?
Correct.
Wow, okay.
But they were well within their they were within their limits according to Illinois law on the amount of coverage that they had, correct?
They had $20,000 worth of liability coverage. And they'd already
For
paid
property
out-
damage.
They'd already paid out almost 13,000.
Okay.
And then we had to get the cabinet built that they tore up. And we didn't know what the total price would be on the cabinet until Movotrex had it built. In the meantime, they'd already paid out on the other part.
For those of you that are listening and don't know what the heck we're talking about, there was a car accident that took out one of our traffic control boxes, those great big, what are they, aluminum or metal? Stainless, that's what I meant, stainless steel boxes, and wiped it out. And it was about a 45, sounds like $45,000 repair. And basically, that's what we're discussing, is the insured motorist didn't have enough coverage limits to pay us the damages. So anyway, just thought you might be curious.
I mean, we do have the option of refusing the insurance settlement and filing something in court against the driver to try to get additional or more, but I don't know that that's going to get us any more than what the insurance is offering at this point.
If we take the insurance offer, we can still go ahead and go after the driver
If we
personally?
take the
No.
insurance offer,
We're
it
done?
requires us to sign a settlement that we're done going after them and the driver. It resolves the claim completely.
And did you say the $20,000 liability coverage that he had, that is the minimum, that meets the state's requirements?
That I'm not sure. I'm not
That's-
sure what the,
They were in the mean, they were well in their means.
yeah, I'm not sure if there's a minimum under the state for that. I'm not for sure on that. I can check though.
Yeah.
We also take a chance of the amount that they're offering us. If other bills come up with the other party, we're gonna lose that, and then if we don't get anything, then we're out.
Maybe we got to research that just a little bit more before we make a recommendation. Will we need to make that decision prior to the next count? How does that need to work?
So I think this bill to mobile trucks is going to have to be paid either way.
I understand that, but the decision on whether we settle this, does that require council action formally? Because I'm worried about the timing between now and the next council meeting, and when if we got to make a decision on that, what do we need to do?
If the council
Yeah.
comes back on it, we could act on that.
Well, that's true. Okay, well, I guess we'll
But
figure it
yeah,
out at the
I-
next council meeting
I
then.
mean, I think the bill needs to be paid either way, and then it's just a matter of figuring out how we're going to get the most reimbursement we can get.
Okay. Well, if you'd research those things, then I guess you let us know. Okay, any other discussion on any item or sub-item on the consent agenda? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, new business, item 5 under Police Department. Commissioner Barwick, you've got a host of things, it looks like.
Yeah, start out, I'd like to make a motion that we would approve recommendation of the Merit Board, myself and Chief Fitz, to hire Mason Summers as a patrol officer at the agreed-upon rate per the collective bargaining agreement. Summers' start date will be January 20th, 2025.
Second that.
Any discussion?
Mayor, Mr. Summers is in the back here. He's actually here.
Would you like us to hire him first, or you want to risk it?
Yeah, we can go ahead and hire him.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Hey, you made the cut. All right.
Mason's actually in the Army Reserves.
Hoorah.
He's next in line on the Merit Board's list, and here he is. We're happy to have him.
All right. Tell us about yourself.
In the Army Reserves, like excited to be a part of Marion and get this started.
You from the area?
I'm from Denton.
Benton? Benton Ranger, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ready to be a Wildcat though, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, glad to have you aboard. Would you like to get sworn in?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Hey, before you. We can text it to you. We're going to go up here. Who's your significant other? Kate? Katie. That's Commissioner Barwick. This is Doug Patton. Coach Jim Webb. So, don't you guys might want a picture up here by the city logo? Is that okay? Prom pose, everybody. Got it? Yep. Nice to meet you, Katie. Glad to have you aboard. Sure, I'm all right. All right. Were you smiling for the picture, Commissioner Steckman?
They're going to suggest we.
Yes, sir, I was. Thank you.
Outstanding. All right, item 5B.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of Chief Fitz to hire Veronica Miles as a dispatcher at the probationary 1 rate per the collective bargaining agreement. Miles' start date will be January 14th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Okay. Veronica's here too, right? You want us to hire you first, or you want to risk it? Okay. Any discussion on item 5B? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay.
Veronica comes to us from the Saline County Sheriff's Office. She has 3 years of experience and came highly recommended.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me. Looking forward to serving the city of Marion.
So you have done this in Saline County. So is this just a better place to work, or
It's probably a little busier.
a little busier? Okay, well, I'm not sure that's a good thing, but okay. Well, we're glad to have you aboard.
Thank you.
All right. Would you like to have your picture? You'll get a picture for?
Sure.
All right, well, come on up. We'll do it again. Smile again, Commissioner Steckland.
I'm still smiling.
Okay.
Oh, you brought it over?
Is he yours?
Yeah.
Here, we can bring him up.
Come here, buddy. Can you get a picture?
Come on, let's get, oh, come on. Can I at least shake your hand? Okay.
All right.
I'll have you aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, bright and early. Thank you.
All right, item 5C.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of Chief Fitz to hire Corey Strong as a dispatcher at the probationary 1 rate per the collective bargaining agreement. Strong's start date will be January 15th, 2025.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on 5C? Is Corey here?
He is not.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 5D.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation of Chief Fitz to hire Mark Bundren as a school security officer at the agreed upon pay rate between Marion Unit 2 schools and the city of Marion.
I'll second that.
Discussion on 5D? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 5E.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 3996, authorizing the sale of a 2015 Ford Explorer to the city of Carrier Mills in the amount of $3,000.
Second that.
Discussion on 5E. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6A, which has to do with John Gordon, who is here. Let's see if I can encapsulate this for everybody. But you tell me if I've got any of this wrong. First of all, it's very unusual. This petition is for a disconnection or de-annexation from city limits. And as we met with John, when I say we, it was the street department superintendent, Glenn Clarida, Brent Kane, which is the water and sewer department superintendent, because this is literally on the edge of, I would say, like the farthest northeast of city limits. And to make it concise is you want to sell your land to someone that's going to put in a subdivision of affordable homes. And to make it simple, Spillertown's ordinance that as it requires to the street, curb and gutter, things like this, is a lot more lenient than what ours is, which simply means it's less expensive for the developer to develop the subdivision. Our concern when we met with John is that we didn't want it to be annexed into Spillertown, which I think is if we do this, that's the next step, which I understand they want to do, and then end up getting stuck with having to clear the roads and all that stuff anyway, and or provide water and sewer service. But Brent Kane talked to his counterpart at Spillertown. They are indeed planning on happily providing all those services. Spillertown has a profit motive, so to speak, because they do levy a property tax against it. We don't. So it's sort of to their advantage. Did I get all that right? Okay. But it is matter of fact, I think this is the first disconnection in almost 6 years since I've been here, and I don't know when the last time before that might have been. Usually we're annexing properties, but that's the story. I'll need a motion in a second before we can discuss it or ask further questions of John. So I'll just go ahead and move to approve ordinance 3997. I'm sorry. Ordinance 3995, approving a petition for disconnection by John and Marjorie Gordon.
I'll second that.
Okay, John, you got anything to add to that? Anybody have any questions on this? Doesn't feel real good, to be honest. I don't really like it, but I can't put my finger on why. But
Access to the new subdivision, John, has that been determined yet?
Spillertown Road.
Spillertown Road?
Right. It's actually adjacent to that, butts up against that subdivision that's out there now.
Right.
On the south side of Spillertown. So he's going to develop 15 acres in there.
So that access will be on the north side of that subdivision or the south side?
South side.
South side.
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
I don't think he has final plans set yet, but it'll either be off Spillertown Road or through that subdivision right there.
Okay.
And you provide the sewer for indirectly anyway to Spillertown customers.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to see on this little map we've got.
anybody else have questions? You had a second, right?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Okay, now under 7, Building and Code Services, item A. Wendy will ask you to walk us through this if you don't mind.
Yep, so there's
Genesis
two
of this.
changes that we're looking to make here and just in a specific section here. So in the first paragraph, it says that you have to obtain a permit from the Building and Codes Department. Previously, that said the city clerk's office. It's the Building and Codes office that does these now, so that just makes it more clear. And then the other change is in C. We increased the bond amount. Previously, it was set at $10,000. We're asking to increase that to $25,000. I don't know if you guys recall, but a couple of years ago, we increased the bond amount on our electrical licenses as well. And I think we increased that to $20,000. And I did have the sticky note. Tim Stotler, our codes director, checked with a local insurance company just to see the annual cost for a $25,000 bond on something like this is $325 a year. So this isn't like a major.
Incrementally, what was it when it was 10,000, for example? I mean, that's the real question.
I'm not for sure.
Okay. I suspect it's not a whole lot more for a $25,000 one than it is a $10,000 one, but I don't know.
I know when we changed the electrical license from 10 to 20, it was only going to be a difference of like $10, $20 per month kind of thing. I mean, it was a very small amount.
What was the new cost?
For the bond?
Yeah.
$25,000.
No, the bond cost per year.
I didn't
320.
bring the sticky note with me, but I believe it was $325.
325.
I believe is what he called one of the insurance companies here in town, and that was what they quoted him.
So what does the bond do then? If, let's say, a roofer goes in and he walks away from the job and/or does a insufficient job, then the homeowner goes after that bond, or?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the bond kind of guarantees some of the work as prescribed in a contract. So it wouldn't be something like that the city necessarily, but like the homeowner or a property owner, if they enter into a contract that gets defaulted somehow, they could then file a claim on the bond. Obviously, roofs have increased in cost over the years, so that's why we thought the need to increase from the 10 to 25 was probably a more realistic.
Hopefully he doesn't mess up more than one roof at a time.
Well, that would be that's not an aggregate amount if they get sued, is it? Or is that a per job?
That I'm not for sure.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 3997, amending ordinance 1861 concerning roofers working in the city. Do I need to state the dollar amount, or is
Can.
that good enough? Changing the first obtaining a permit for the building and codes and the bond in force amount to $25,000 from $10,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion, further discussion on this?
Should we maybe confirm that this would be for each job that they take? They have to have a $25,000 bond, and not just, if they've got 10 jobs going, that wouldn't be much of a bond. Do we need to be more specific in this, stating that each?
I don't think we've ever required a bond for each job, and I'm not sure that that is.
Yeah, the ordinance doesn't necessarily specify that it's per job. It just that in order to obtain a permit, they have to show, one, that they're licensed by the state, as they should be, and then the proof of insurance. Yeah, I think that might be more.
Yeah, they'd have to come get a permit on every job to do that.
Yeah, that might be too cumbersome for what you're.
I see what you're saying. I just don't know if that's. It's similar to the electrical permit and bond. We don't require that per job either. And in that case, I think we've had one instance since I've been here that somebody actually successfully went back against an electrician's surety bond. And I don't know that we've had this issue at all. I think it's just a recognition of a technicality, is that if they did, $10,000 probably doesn't cover the average roof at this roof job at this point.
Each job would need a permit though, right?
I don't think they do a permit for each
No.
job.
No, they just have to have a roofing
Yeah.
license.
Just a roofing license. So a building permit would not be required on a roof.
Mm-mm.
Well,
I think it would.
a building
A
permit
building
is different.
permit.
That's a completely different
That's,
thing
yeah,
than this.
building permit, I'm sorry.
But a permit to replace a roof, you would still need a permit.
Yes, this is a.
If you
per-
were just replacing the
Yes.
roof, you still would need a permit.
Yes,
Building permit, yes.
but this is a
This is
permit
a-
to be a licensed roofing contractor in the
Oh,
city.
I'm
That's
with you.
predicate.
We do not have a permit to replace a roof.
Oh,
The building permit would not?
We don't require a building permit to replace it. No.
I stand
we're
corrected.
talking, two other roofs. I'm drawing from the, there's no way to know how many roofs we're replacing in the city.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we've
Yeah,
got,
I was unsure on that also.
if we don't inspect those, I'm not sure we'd have standing to issue the permit, and we don't, because we're not licensed. Our folks
Yeah.
aren't licensed roofing people. I mean,
And yeah, we're not inspecting the roofs. That's
so I'm
not,
not
we're
sure
not-
exactly what we would be charging for
Okay.
to do that. This is to safeguard along with the state statute that dictates that they be licensed. So the state, basically, unless you've got enough complaints against a specific, because the state licenses them too.
Correct.
You can go on the state, what's that, Illinois,
Department of Financial and Professional
that
Regulations.
one, yeah, ID, whatever that acronym is. But you can go on that website, which we have, and do when we issue these to make sure they're in good standing with the state. State law says that they've got to have certain bonding requirements and all this stuff, but the state doesn't really have an enforcement component to that. They leave that up to the municipalities. So we enacted, whenever this was, back in whatever ordinance 1861 was, a long time ago. But apparently it's not on a job-by-job basis, so. Do I have a motion in a second?
Yes.
Any other discussion? I guess we can, if you guys really want to look at that permit basis on a job-by-job basis, but that'll be cumbersome.
It will be cumbersome.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I got them. Maybe it was City of Carbondale required a permit to, because if I remember right, if you overlaid another roof, you did not have to have a building permit or a roofer's permit.
Yeah,
But
I
if
don't
you
know.
tore off and replaced, you did. And maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It's Carbondale. What do you say?
Well, I guess if we wanted to invest in a code officer that could take all those certifications and things and then go out, that'd almost be a full-time job in of itself, especially during certain seasons.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure we've got the
No.
throughput
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to charge enough on the permits to compensate for the employee you'd
Yeah.
have to hire.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Thanks, Wendy. Under item 8, we've got 2 items, both of which Cody can walk us through. On item 8A, I'll go ahead and make this motion so we can discuss it, to approve a proposal from Solar on Earth to subscribe each of our city facilities to community solar.
Second.
Okay. Now, Cody, tell us what Solar on Earth is, subscribe means, and what's community solar, please.
Okay, so we've talked about community solar in the past. It's kind of the state allowed it through the Illinois Clean Energy Jobs Act several years ago, and essentially, community solar is companies like Solar on Earth exist to build solar arrays in which they seek out subscribers. Those can be residents of the state, those can be school districts within the state, those can be municipal governments, for-profit entities, really anyone qualifies. The rate at which you save is the only thing that's really changes. Most of the community solar for residents are reserved for those that would be of a lower income status or would have a qualifying factor that would allow them to subscribe. For municipalities, that's what we're considering here. I've talked to, I believe this is the fourth company I've talked to. The prior three offered us around 7 or 8% savings. Solar on Earth, however, they're getting ready to start a new array. We would be the first subscriber to that, which allows us 20% savings, which is, again, by far the most that I've seen. So the concept is the initial contract term of this contract is for a 10-year period. We would save, on average, again, more in the summer versus the winter, given sunshine, we would save on average about 20% off of our utility bills for all of our city facilities. If you recall in the past, we've approved some solar projects that would build solar arrays to function as the utility essentially for the sewer department and the water department. That will not affect this process. We will just save 20% off of what we're still going to be required to buy off the grid, because those arrays, I don't think, will offset us 100% in either case. But it's a pretty neat concept. I can't find a loophole. I can't find a hook. I can't find a gotcha. And so this is just a situation where we subscribe to this solar array for this period, and we save whatever term they offer us. As it exists today, they don't have consolidated billing, which is the only piece of this that I don't really like. But essentially, Ameren will deliver the credits to us on each bill, and then they will bill us for 80% of those credits. So essentially getting us to the 20% savings. Does that make sense, the concept? So we will receive 100% of the credits on our bill. They will then bill us back 80% of that. And that's how they, of course, make their money. It's negotiable to the fact that they want to negotiate with us. If we're not good with 20%, they'll just go next door to the next town and subscribe them.
So this is, when you say they'll credit us, that Ameren will credit us for the solar usage. So that's just on the power port, not the delivery portion, right? That's just the kilowatt consumption.
The production, correct. Yeah, the usage.
So it's not like we'll get a $0 Ameren bill.
100%.
But all of our energy usage would be zeroed out.
Right.
And then we basically got to pay yet another vendor 80% of that amount.
Yeah, so it nets out to about 11 cents a kilowatt hour versus the 15 to 16 that we're paying now, all-in rate. If that makes sense. So that's where that savings comes in. The one thing in the contract, I don't know if you all took time to go through the contract, one thing that stuck out to me in the contract that I need to have a discussion on, I don't know if Wendy saw it, but in the event that we were to cancel for any reason, we have the ability to do so. We have to stay within the program until they find someone else to take on our credits, to take the kilowatts that we're subscribing to off that array. So we have to give 180 days notice to cancel. We can do so for any reason, but that doesn't mean that we will actually dissolve this relationship in 180 days. That could go on in perpetuity until they find another subscriber to those same kilowatt hours. So that's the only thing in the contract that struck out to me, but I understand it in concept. I just don't know if there's a way that we can remove that, strike that.
And I know in your notes you said this, but I want to make sure. That's just to stay with them no matter what our consumption is.
Correct.
But if we, because I know you're looking hard at it on some of our facilities that we try to actually put physical solar on, right. We're not prohibited from doing that. It's just that our savings would obviously be less under the community solar.
That's correct.
But that doesn't put us in violation of the contract in any way.
No, because I specifically had those conversations, full transparency, letting them know that we were seeking those opportunities out.
The only downside I can find is just having to add another vendor to our accounts payable.
There's a belief in Springfield this spring that rule will officially change and become effective sometime later this year. And if that's the case, we would go back to just receiving our Ameren bill and paying the one bill, and only seeing those 20% credits on that bill. So
the state's dictating it's that way? Do you know why?
No idea.
Okay.
Cody, where would this array be built? I'm just curious.
Specifically, I don't know the answer to that in this respect, but it has to be somewhere in Ameren's territory. So that could be.
It could be upstate, doesn't matter.
What's that? Princeton where? Princeton, Illinois, and Dover, Illinois are the two. Princeton, Illinois, and
Okay.
Dover, Illinois are the two. Yeah, so the array is being built presently, so these credits would not start until September. That's the presumed operations date.
Is this type of program, has it been implemented anywhere else?
Yeah, quite.
Do we-
And if you recall, a couple months ago, I talked about vetting out a floating facility for the sewage retainage pond there
Right.
on Wildcat.
Right.
That's what that array would be used for, community solar.
Okay. So in item 6, under payment C, it says minus any administrative fees. Do we know what those typically would run?
What page is that on?
Under consolidated billing,
Yes, consolidated billing.
that's referring to any charges Ameren would already have
Okay.
on our bill.
Okay.
Administrative fees that Ameren
Okay.
would charge. Because at that point, once consolidated billing happens, we won't receive a bill from Solar on Earth anymore. It
Gotcha.
would just be our Ameren bill.
I think Terrence had something.
Question on the floor. Did you have,
I just had a comment. I'm working with 3 different solar companies.
can you give them the mic?
I'm working on 3 different projects to build solar arrays. I don't think it's in the city limits, but it's out there in that Spillertown area. And they, as you well know, they wheel this power all over and trade power and all that. But they're building these like crazy. So it will probably be coming from the least resistance in an area around here. I built several big ones over in Heron.
Okay. We didn't make a motion yet, did we?
Yes, we have a motion and a second.
Okay. Any other questions on item 8A on this proposal? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Okay, probably at the next meeting, we will be putting forth in front of you, after 4 years of long, hard work, we hope at the next meeting, the actual authorization to issue the STAR bonds. We think those STAR bonds will be in the denomination somewhere around $110 million to build out project number 1. Way back, as you see in your packet, this master developer agreement, which outlines the whole process as it relates to the city's relationship with the master developer and such. That was done in 2020, I think. We amended it a couple of times. So I think this document, which Cody will walk you through, has a couple of technical changes that the bond council and such requested us to make as to be completely
Consistent.
synonymous and consistent with the bonding documents. And those are relatively thick and with lots and lots of information on it. So allow yourself some time to read all that stuff before the next meeting, assume we get those
I
in.
have Cliff Notes.
Huh?
I have Cliff Notes.
Yeah. And kudos to you, Cody, because I know all week long you've been pouring through them, and you probably understand it all better than anybody else on the planet at this point. So walk us through what these changes are,
Okay,
please.
so this amendment does 3 things. One, under section A there, the preliminary statement, again, it's just kind of a whereas statement in the original agreement, but all the bond documents require the developer to build out project 1 as presented. So again, this is just a synonymous or a consistent statement to make throughout. This master developer agreement would then require the developer to build out project one as presented. Section 2 there, B, under the incentive section. When we first started this process, we were so hyper-focused on the concept of incremental sales tax that we weren't necessarily considering hotel tax, gas tax, and amusement tax as being sales taxes, but in the eyes of the state, they believe those to be. Currently, no such hotel, no such fuel or gas station exists within the Star Bond District, or amusement for that matter exists within the Star Bond District. So again, it doesn't affect anything currently, but there is a hotel, a part of Project One, as well as amusements. So those items would then start going into the revenues required to pay the bonds. So that's what Section B says. And then Section C is the assignment section. And again, we do this a lot in the TIF world. If there's an entity that takes on costs associated with the development of a project, that entity has to be named within the agreement. Again, we do this with TIF all the time, and that's simply what's happening here. All the entities associated with the development team are now listed within the agreement, some of which didn't even exist in 2020 when the initial agreement was contemplated and adopted. So that's just a cleanup at that point.
And the assignment and assumption agreement on the bond issue, that's new, right?
Yeah, and that's a party, or that's a document of the development party. So the development team has to sign off that they're agreeing to assign some of the costs associated with the development to one of the other entities. So
Okay.
that's all that agreement does. We're not even a party to that agreement, other than to recognize that the developer agrees to assign some of their costs to this other entity, of which case we're agreeing to with the full amendment.
Okay. All right, let me make a motion so we can ask questions or comments. Item 8B, I move to approve ordinance 3998, amending the Star Bond Master Developer Agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions? Just go back and ask you about B. So, any sales tax increment generated by the city's hotel tax, motor tax, and amusement tax shall not be pledged to the payment of the Series 2025 bonds.
Correct.
Shall not be.
Correct.
But then it says, the revenues from any such taxes generated shall be retained by the city, used any purpose allowed by the act, or is otherwise allowed by law. The city may, however, use such revenues to reimburse these eligible costs or pledge them towards the payment of Star bonds. So it basically gives us either or
Well, so
option.
the concept is the revenue for this, that will go to pay this first series of bonds is only home rule sales tax, municipal tax, and then the state share
Right.
of sales tax.
I don't think it's worth.
I don't know. Do you have batteries?
No. Talk real loud.
Okay, so the concept is that the only taxes pledged to this repayment of the first series of bonds is home rule sales tax, municipal tax, and the state share of tax. These other taxes listed here will still go into the account, but they will be rebated back to the city because they're not pledged to pay the principal and interest of the bonds, the first series of, or first issuance bonds, okay? We can then use those funds, they will have to sit in a special account, we won't be able to spend them, they'll have to sit in the Star Bond account.
Because it is, it is part of Star bonds. That's where I was,
Yes.
it is pledged
Yes,
revenue.
yes.
Okay,
It will
that's
sit
where
in
I
the
was
Star
getting.
Bond special account, of which we can then make other agreements, or we could issue more bonds, or we could do a number of things. We just can't spend those dollars as general fund dollars or anything. They would have to be pledged to pay for some sort of project cost related to construction.
Okay, that's where I was getting crossed there a little
Yeah.
bit. Is a new, anything that's in the Star Bond District pledged to Star Bonds.
Correct.
We're just not pledging them towards this series of bonds.
That's correct.
Okay. But we may towards, we hope there's Project 2 and Project 3 and so
Absolutely.
forth and so on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But we have no choice as to pledge them. That's what this
That's
does.
what, yeah, okay.
But since there's no revenue currently, there's no point in pledging them to this first series of bonds because we don't know what that.
Because there
number's
isn't
gonna be
any.
5 years from now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how much we're talking
We
money
don't
wise.
know.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's, the only thing impacted in this first project will be one hotel.
Right.
So, I mean.
But in theory, somebody, I don't know where it would be in the Starbucks, somebody could build a gas station or something like that that may in the future generate motor fuel tax. I don't know that we know of anything like that that would be kind of, just this hotel that we know. So, okay. That's where I was getting.
And given that it's just this one hotel, it's not gonna make up enough money to material impact this first series of bonds. So that's why we just decided not to, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
So in Exhibit A, we've got tracks 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12, 13, and 14. Is that all part of this series of bonds? Or is that all encompassing?
That's,
For,
that's all encompassing. Everything you see in, I'm sorry, everything you see in blue on that map.
Yeah.
Tracks 4, 5, 6, yeah, that list above, that's everything in.
Project
in the
1.
First project.
That's Project 1.
Yeah. Everything that's not in that,
1, 2, 3, 8, 10, 11.
11, would be.
Well, there is no 10,
Would be
11.
a future project.
There's no, 10, 11 is just not listed in the legend. Those are just, there's nothing planned there at this point.
Right.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, Commissioner reports. Jim, we'll start with you tonight.
Yeah, a street department list is kind of short because we talked a lot about what we've been working on earlier in the meeting. So, Doug did inform me we've been doing some drainage tile work on Copeland Street, Monroe Street, and Carter Street. So, as far as the cemetery goes, we did have 15 burials in the month of December. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Stecklin, do you mind if I read your report out of efficiency here?
Go right ahead.
Okay, in my best John Stecklin impersonation. For the year of 2024, the Water Department reports as follows: 62 new service taps, 38 water main breaks, 36 water service leaks, 102 services were updated, 5 fire hydrants were replaced or added to the system, 33 fire hydrants were repaired, 135 meter pits repaired, 5,739 service calls, 3,762 Julie locate requests completed, which averages 314 a month. That's a lot. Okay, I don't know if this is trivia night or not, but let's see. This is irresistible. How many gallons did Marion pump in 2024, gallons of water, to customers? Anybody know? For the year. All of them. That's a good answer. I'll accept an answer correct within 100 million gallons. So somebody's got to guess.
Within 100 million?
Yeah, I'm giving you some slack, Jack. Anybody? Steve?
200 million.
Nope. John? You're the engineer of the group, one of the engineers in the group.
I'm going to say 15. 15.
million
Yeah.
gallons.
800 million?
Ooh,
I'd say 15 million.
how much?
422.
Okay, closest are 422 and 800 million. Anybody else want to venture a guess?
600.
600. Neither of Marion's finest back there want to venture a guess? 675,779,264 gallons of water were pumped in 2024 through our service lines to our customers. So what a busy year. Hats off to an outstanding department and crew. And also relative to trivia, the Marion Cultural and Civic Center Foundation, this is a foundation that supports the programming and efforts at the Civic Center itself, but that's its own charitable foundation, is hosting a music trivia night featuring Papa G, January 24th, 7 p.m. So I know we're having a table. I've got Cody's going to join me and his wife and my wife and a few of our friends. This is music trivia, like I said, so if you guys would love to participate, we'd love to have you. All right, Commissioner Barwick, what's your report?
I have an activity report for January through December of 2024. For the year, there were 507 city ordinance violations, 2,848 criminal/traffic citations, 322 warrant arrests, 3,653 incidents reported, 1,887 traffic accidents, and 34 DUIs. Dispatched calls, 20,844. Marion 911 calls, 21,815. Non-emergency calls, 46,864. And ambulance calls, 1,921 for the year of 2024.
Mr. Patton?
I can't compete with that. The treasurer's office does not have anything. I'm racing through my mind trying to figure out what kind of facts and figures I can come up with, but I'll have something next time.
Okay. I wanted to also mention at the pavilion on Monday, help me out, Terrence.
January 20th.
January 20th is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday is the 20th, and right? That is his birthday. And the Boynton Street Community Center for years has had a ceremony and program there that's always worthwhile. I think it's from 11 to 1 o'clock. Who's serving the meal this year? Anybody know? That's always good too. Smoking K's barbecue? Great.
And I don't know who the keynote is.
Harmon, do you know who the keynote speaker is this year?
Yes, it's the Girl Scout CEO.
Oh, that's right. The new CEO for the Girl Scouts. So
Okay.
She'd be the keynote speaker.
Okay. So I don't think tickets are required for that, so you just come as you are. And there's always a broad group of people that attend that, and always a good time, and almost always fantastic speakers. So I invite everybody in the community to come to the pavilion, 11 o'clock, Monday the 20th. It's this Monday, a week from today. Okay, anything under miscellaneous to come before the council from the council members? Anybody from city staff want to bring up anything under miscellaneous? Or from our audience attendees?
Sorry.
Yes?
I would just like to add, my organization, Connect 360, is getting honored, getting excellence award from, the Marion Chamber of Commerce.
Marion Chamber of Commerce. That's on Friday, this Friday. Yeah. What award is Connect 360 getting?
Excellence.
Award of Excellence? Outstanding. Okay, item 11, anybody have a need for a closed or executive session this evening? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Berwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stepland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Thank you all. Try to stay warm.